Hi, Renee. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Hi there, Elisha. I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Beautiful. And thank you so very much for being here. And you see, Renee, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Renee, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you did invested in yourself. And oftentimes, Renee, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some couple of months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, Renee, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, just recently, Renee, I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got a urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes now, and I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely moment that day. I was so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Renee that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to say no to you and getting to read a little bit about you, the beautiful stuff that you're doing, your insights, your philosophies, how you're offering your solutions, the impact your work is having. These stuffs are amazing. So I've got to say thank you so very much for doing that to yourself. And secondly, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you, Renee. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisha. And I really appreciate that reference to the mango tree. And to I remember the very first time I ever saw a mango tree. So originally being from Wisconsin, here in the United States, we don't have mango trees. So when I met my husband, who's now my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, but he took me to Florida. And Florida is in the southern parts of the United States, and it has lots of mango trees. And when I saw it for the first time, I said, "What is it? What is that?" And in my eyes, I said, "They look like rats hanging from a tree." So he said, "Those are mangoes." And I said, "I have never seen a mango hanging from a tree before." And it was the strangest thing that I had ever seen, but it's one of my favorite fruit. And so I was glad to see it in its natural element and to see a tree just laden with mangoes is truly brings joy to me because mangoes are not only sweet to the taste, and there's so many different varieties, kind of like all of us in business. You know, we all have different gifts and skills and talents. Same different mangoes have bring different flavors and different textures and that sort of thing. And it is truly wonderful to have that as a an example of the variety of mango, the health and the taste and texture of each one as it compares to us and business and all of our different gifts and how we can all come together and make a beautiful, beautiful dish.
That's so true. Beautiful. I got that. Okay, Renee, see, let's get started. I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Renee, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very, very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Renee on the show is for the sake of the audience. They say we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got a lot of information flying out there. So those folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Renee, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Renee got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Renee, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Elisha. I love sharing my origin story because it's just unique to me. No one has my story or my testimony. I am actually the granddaughter of a sharecropper. And in the United States, what a sharecropper is someone who basically works for someone else who owns the land. And there was a man that my grandfather met in the South of the United States who my grandfather worked his land. And that man who owned the land also had land in Wisconsin, which is where I had mentioned that I'm from. And in Wisconsin, there's a community, Amish community, and the Amish are kind of like Quakers, all Caucasian. And I, being an African American, and our family being the only African Americans in the area, we were the only Black people that they had ever seen. And so my grandfather made it a point to instill in us the importance of hard work, being honest, being dependable, being reliable, being trustworthy, being a person of your word. And when we do things, do them with excellence, because we wanted everybody in that community and anyone who ever crossed our path to know that when you meet someone from this family, you can trust them. They are good people. And so that's how I was raised by my single mom on this in this farmland area of Amish community in Wisconsin. Eventually, my mom left the farm and we settled in after some time Madison, Wisconsin. And Madison had a summer youth employment program where the city of Madison put together a program to keep the young children off the streets in the summer and give them opportunity to learn job skills and discover their unique gifts that come naturally to them. So one of the first opportunities they gave to me was to work at the Madison Urban League to create a library. I went into this room and it was filled high and deep with books and books and books, hardcovers and soft covers, all types of books that had to be organized, categorized, and logged so that they could find them later. And by the end of summer, that was my job. And that's what I was able to do. By the end of summer, they had an entire organized, labeled, categorized, log library of books. And I was 12. And so it was at this time that I discovered I really love organizing things because I created folders and subfolders and subfolders, categories of these books, which easily translated later in life to data and information storage. At the second year, they placed me at a place called Norrell Temporary Services. And at Norrell Temporary Services, it was a temporary employment agency. It was a franchise owned by a Black woman. And when I saw the impact that she was having in our community by providing jobs to job seekers, my job was to hand them the application and give them the papers to fill out, and they would hand them back to me, and I would type it into the computer. And as I heard my fingers, then the clickety-clack of the keys entering this information from these applicants, I was thinking in my head, this is life-changing work. These people are going to be able to get employment and find jobs to take care of their families because she's here providing this service. And I made an inner vow that I was going to one day run an office or own my own business. And I saw that it could be done, and I was 13. So from that day forward, I took all the business classes I could take in school, all the shorthand, the typing, the um, uh, dictation, all of the things that we did back then, because that's how office work was done. And slowly I ended up graduating from high school at 16 years old. But when I graduated, I also had a 1 month old son. So it was my plans for college got deterred because I found myself immediately having to go to work to take care of my family. So, but because I had gained all these employable skills from such a young age, I was able to land a very good job working for the state of Wisconsin, making very good money. So, all of those experiences were very beneficial in forming the foundation of working in corporate America. So years go by, I'm advancing in my skills and eventually supporting very high level executives, like the chief executive officer of a Fortune 100 company or the president and CEO of the number one nonprofit. So when you're supporting folks on this level, it's a whole different set of skills that are necessary in order to be successful in your role as their assistant. So I loved this being the go-to person for my executive because they can share with us, their assistants, things that they can't share with anyone else. When they say it's lonely at the top, it really is lonely at the top. They don't have people that they can talk to about just anything, but their assistant they can always talk to about anything because they know that having an assistant like that is like, Fort Knox. They're like the gatekeepers that you can trust them with anything. And so that's what my executives did. They took a lot of pride in our relationship and the confidence that they had in me to hold everything that they said to me in confidence. So fast forward, my kids get grown and or leave school, and that I become an empty nester, and I have still all this time on my hands and all this passion still to help executives. And so I said, let me see if I can get a couple of my own executives to support, maybe on the nights and weekends when I'm not doing my corporate day job. And so I started Executive Help Now, which is a virtual assistance service agency. When I started, it was just me, myself, offering these administrative support opportunities to my clients, my own executive clients. And then my clients kept telling their friends about what the service I was providing and how their lives were just impacted for the better
Um,
because I was able to support them. And so the business kept growing. So I had to scale. And because I eventually my day job was taking as much time, my night job was taking as much time as my day job, and I was getting no sleep, and the quality of my work was beginning to suffer, and my health was starting to suffer from burning the candle at both ends. So I immediately knew I needed to get some help. And when I brought on a virtual assistant and started delegating work to her name is Ashley, the quality of my own life changed. And so it was from then I was told, you need to figure out how to scale this because this is a game changer in every business owner's life. So I did.
Beautiful. Profound words, I tell you. Firstly, your story, I found that very inspiring and motivating. You've got a great dad, just like you mentioned that he ensured that he ingrained within you all of those virtues, which is so, so beautiful. And you mentioned virtual assistant. So I've got some questions around that. All right. So what makes virtual assistant so powerful for entrepreneurs?
What makes virtual assistants so powerful is the fact that there's something called a time value uh, relationship that you need to understand, that people need to understand about their own time. So if you are an executive and you make $300 an hour, is the best use of your time trying to schedule a meeting or managing your calendar or checking your email or making travel arrangements? No. The short answer is no. That is not the best use of your time. Those are things that can be delegated to somebody else to free up your valuable time to do the things that are most impactful to the bottom line of your business. If what you're doing isn't income generating activity, it needs to be delegated immediately. So the value of virtual assistants is that they take those things off of your plate so that you can focus on doing the things that are most important to the bottom line of your business.
Beautiful. I got that. I got that. Okay, you just used the word delegate. All right. So how do you help your client decide what to delegate?
So that varies with each particular client, but overall, if the activity is something that is important and needs to get done, but does not add dollars to your bottom line, those are the things that need to be delegated. So in your business or in your industry, what does that look like? It could look like calendar management. It could look like email management. It could look like social media management, doing presentations, expense reports, um, all of those things. Those things need to get done. They are important, but they are not things that add dollars to your bottom.
Okay, I think I got that. So, what delegation mistakes do entrepreneurs make, and how can they avoid them? Got it?
Yes. So some delegation mistakes that people make is that they don't make a list of the things that they want to have delegated. They just they are more emotional instead of proactive. And making a list of the things that they want to have delegated and communicating an understanding of what success looks like for those delegated items is important. And I think that's a miss. Sometimes they'll just say, here, just do this. But if they don't tell you what their expectation is, or when they want to have it back, or if it should be a first draft, or if it should be final, if those things are not clearly communicated, it could set up your assistant for failure. And we don't
Failure.
want.
Hmm,
Mm-hmm.
that's so true. And I think I can relate to that. That's true. Okay, so we have one more to go, just one more. All right. So, what has entrepreneurship taught you about being authentic?
Mm. What entrepreneurship has taught me about being authentic is that people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And I only know how to be me. I don't know how to put on airs. I don't know how to be fake. What you see is what you get. And I think that the people that I come across who get to cross my path or I get to cross their path, they really appreciate that there's no pretense, there's no pomp, there's no nothing. It's like I just am who I am, a God fearing woman who loves the Lord, who wants to help people, who has developed a team of other assistants who have servant hearts that feel as passionately like I do about improving the quality of lives of our clients.
Beautiful. Who loves the Lord? I love that part. That's a great word. Okay, so to bring this to an end, Renee, what's your advice for entrepreneurs who feel overwhelmed and for folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or open your services? How can that be possible?
So, the advice that I would have for people who are overwhelmed is to start to build a team. Surround yourself with people that you can delegate things to lighten your load. If you are running a business and you're wearing all the hats, you're wearing the accounting hat, the marketing hat, the sales hat, you're wearing the, administrative hat, and you're not actually even getting to what the activities that actually will grow the business, then all of those things, you need people on your team. The sooner you build a team or start to get people on beside you who can help you, the less overwhelmed you will feel. And you'll see that your business will take off like a rocket. It will just take off because you're not trying to do all the things. You are delegating all of those specific specialties to people who actually specialize in those things, who enjoy those things, and who can do them better and quicker than you.
The power of delegation. Beautiful. So, what about your contact info, your website for folks who would like to reach out to you?
Yes, so I can be reached at www.executivehelpnow.org. That's O-R-G. And we're on all the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel called Renee Speaks, and happy for people to check those out, like, share, and subscribe, leave comments, and we definitely love to engage there as well.
Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Renee. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisha.